I'm delighted to be here to address this gathering of media people. And although the awards are yet to be given, but I would like to congratulate all the media persons who have won the awards, the students who have excelled in their diploma, and the colleges which brought out the best campus magazines. I also compliment the Kerala Media Academy for instituting these awards to encourage professionalism in the media. The Academy has been promoting the cause of informed media studies since its inception in 1979. We all know that it was the Kerala Press Academy, started as a joint venture of the state government, Kerala Union of Working Journalists, and the Indian Newspaper Society, which was appropriately renamed as Kerala Media Academy in 2014 in the wake of the transformation of the media scenario the world over. To me, this function appears as a meeting place of practicing journalists and those waiting to be journalists, the budding journalists of the future. Being in the company of award-winning journalists will give the youngsters a feel of the profession, and I hope it would instill in them a great interest to know more about the media. The awards for journalism, which will be presented today, are for the best human interest story, the best editorial, the best local report, the best photography, and for the best story in the visual media. Shri Shahjahan C. Matthew, Shri V.M. Ibrahim, Shri K.V. Rajshekharan, Shri K. Sujit, Shri M.T. Viduraj, and Shri A.A. Shyamkumar can be really proud of their achievement considering the social impact of their work. The pride of being in journalism has been extolled by many writers and thinkers. Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the Nobel laureate, who mesmerized readers with his magic realism, had called journalism as the best profession in the world. It rises as the best not just because it offers a lot of freedom and has a great social impact, but because it involves a greater level of responsibility as well. And since, as I said earlier, we have those who aspire to be journalists here, along with those who are in this profession since long, I would like to depart from the written text and would like to give them, which is not very desirable, but share my feelings with them, and you can also say a piece of advice. According to our tradition, many a times things of wisdom are lost in superstition, customs, and rituals. If you read Gita, which is part of Mahabharata, the man who is reporting everything which is happening in the battlefield, his name is given as Sanjay. Now, those who pay attention to the details Some of those thinkers have written that actually Sanjay is not a name of a person. Sanjay is the quality of a person. Someone who succeeds in overcoming her or his own feelings of affection or ill will. Someone who can be trusted that this person will report whatever he observes, she observes or sees, will report without any bias or prejudice, without mixing facts with the fiction. So Sanjay is not exactly the name of the person. Sanjay is the quality of the reporter. One who does not allow his own feelings to come into play and reports very fairly what is happening on the scene. I wish particularly those who have passed out from these academies or media institutes, or who are there, that they will give enough thought to this and will try to be as fair as possible in the performance of their duties. In India, the thrust on social commitment, in fact, something is coming to my mind that I would also like to share with you, particularly the young crowd. I was reading somewhere, Swami Ranganathananda, who was born in Kerala, and he was head of the Ramakrishna mission for a long period of time. If you read his biography, you will come across an instance when he was a small child. And keep it in mind that Ramakrishna mission, after Swami Vivekananda, who had founded it, the Swami Ranganathananda was the most erudite monk of that order. He has written number of books, so many lectures, not only in India, all over the world. He was real savant, very erudite person. And when he was very young, in his school he picked up a cuss word, some abusive term, came home and without realizing it, he used that word in the presence of his mother. Mother called him, made him to sit down, and she told him, she said, you know, this tongue of yours, this is the abode of Saraswati. How can you allow this abode of Saraswati to be polluted by these abusive terms? And he says that he never, and he was chided by his mother, she must have used strong terms to counsel him. And this man was ever careful. In similar vein, to the aspiring journalist, I would say that the pen which you hold is the instrument, is the weapon of Saraswati. This pen must be used with all possible care. And I was so happy when, Madam, you made this point, that you have to realize your social responsibility. You must become voice of the voiceless. You must give tongue to those who themselves cannot speak, cannot articulate, cannot even complain about things which are happening to them. That should be, if this European writer says it is the most important profession, it becomes important because you have a role to play where you are not just concerned with your own career prospects, but you are doing something for the underclass, for the weaker sections of the society, for the tongueless, for those who cannot articulate their own problems. So I am sure our young friends particularly will realize the importance of the profession which they have chosen to pursue. I come back to my the written text. In India, thrust on social commitment in journalism had been evident right from beginning. Since Indian journalism evolved, this again is important. Our journalism really evolved from the spirit of our national struggle for freedom. And we must always be aware that one of the fundamental duties of the citizen, as they have been outlined in the Constitution, is to cherish and protect the values which inspired our national struggle for freedom. And this year particularly, we are celebrating the whole year. The Constitution Day we started with emphasis on reminding ourselves about our constitutional duties. After independence, we received media's help and cooperation in mobilizing the masses, instilling a sense of nationalism, and propagating the ideals of democracy, equality, and freedom. Journalism in India has been enriched by the writing skills and social commitment of many media persons, where courage and commitment to the profession were exemplary. We have many such examples. Such a sense of social responsibility has emanated from the spirit of our Constitution, which guarantees the freedom of press by implication as part of the right of every citizen to express her views freely. Though the press, or as we say, the fourth pillar of democracy, does not strictly enjoy the provisions granted to the legislature or judiciary, it has a remarkable level of freedom, since an independent press is undoubtedly the true sign of a life in a democracy. Today we live in a world of convergence where the borders of journalism have blurred and the definition of the media itself has evolved to include new systems and gadgets. More than a mission, media is also an industry which operates in a dual product market, selling the same product to both consumers and the advertisers. The newspaper gains a great circulation so that it can sell the readers to its advertisers. So does television with its viewership. The shape, style, and even the definition of media are likely to change again in future. So are the needs and nature of media audiences, which have already undergone fragmentation. But amid all these changes, some things would remain unchanged. The value of credibility, ethical practices, and social responsibility. Therefore, let me take this opportunity to impress upon the awardees and the upcoming journalists what has been asserted by a renowned journalist: facts are sacred, comments are free. Using the mass media for propaganda is totally undesirable. Comment also is justly subject to self-imposed restraint. It is well to be frank. It is even better to be fair. This is an ideal. This ideal calls for making ethical practices a way of life right from the very beginning of one's journalistic career. Today, some media tend to Strains like post-truth as excuses for compromising on editorial integrity and for justifying many other practices like that. The very concept of news is changing and it reaches us diluted as entertainment. All these trends are challenges that could prevent a free press from performing its democratic role as a credible watchdog of society. The greater challenge for a journalist today is to be watchful of the unethical practices that creep into one's work in the garb of business considerations. The advent of the internet and social media has begun to justify, many a times it happens, justify the rat race to reach larger audiences. The newfound freedom of expression has given ordinary people the courage to voice their opinions and concerns, but the credibility of such expressions, many a times, because of unethical practices, they become questionable. The committed journalists of today also have the responsibility of identifying the real truth from the pile of social media half-truths. In conclusion, I would emphasize the importance of continuous learning for every not for journalists, for everybody. We often come across cases where we see people well equipped with conventional knowledge left to deal with a world which does not exist anymore. Whereas the learners, those who have the capability to come up with new ideas, with innovations, they emerge as the winners. So the media persons particularly should be continuous learners if they want to hold their heads high in the journalism of tomorrow. If the journalism of tomorrow resembles a battlefield, the whole life actually is like a battlefield. And if it is a battlefield, then what Lord Krishna told Arjun, that Gyanen Sadirsham Pavitra Iha Vidyate, there is nothing more purifying than knowledge in this world. I wish you all very, very best and give my greetings, my best wishes and congratulations to those who have won the awards today. And I would like to thank the Academy for inviting me and giving this opportunity to me to interact with you. Thank you very much. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.